Welcome back to Wires Up TV, where today we're breaking down the Samoa Rugby League team, Toa Samoa, who will be touring the UK, playing against England in two test series over the next month. And it's a pretty good squad, and we're going to break it down right now for you guys. Please hit that like, and if you're new here, subscribe to Wires Up TV for more international footy. We'll be covering the Pacific Championships. We'll be covering men's, women's. We'll be covering the England-Samoa test over in the UK. So hang out with us for the next month or so. Hit that like, that subscribe, and the notification bell for all your international footy content. So let's get straight into it, guys. We're going to break down firstly the from fullback all the way up to a 13th position. Look, Samoa have got a good crop of young players, a good crop of outside backs that can do a job with a bit of experience. I mean, the big sign here obviously is RTS, and I imagine that as opposed to the Warriors and how the Warriors used him more as a center, as a wing, I think there's a plethora of quality players in the outside backs that I see RTS typically playing a traditional fullback role. I think this will suit his game. I think it will suit the Samoan team's style. I imagine it'll be a bit more of a free-flowing style, which will allow him to kind of, put himself in the game. I suppose at the Warriors, it's a very structured style, and in the modern NRL game, but I suppose with a bit of freedom at the back, he may be able to wreak some havoc, which he's still got the goods, still quite athletic, and when he has played fullback for the Warriors, he's been actually quite good. So I think there's an opportunity there to use him as a fullback, although there are some other options there. You do have the likes of a Blaze Talangi, but I suppose he's more of a centre, more of a 5'8" option. Lutele, I'm sure a lot of the ones like Paonga, Junior Paonga, Tango, Jake Tango, the brother, Mariner as well, could all fill in, but I think RTS stands out as the actual genuine option there at fullback. So I would go with RTS there as the starting fullback. On my right wing, I've got Mariner there. I think he's been absolutely awesome for the Broncos. He's got the speed. He could also play centre as well, but as you'll see, there are some other options there. There is the Jake Tango, who's a great outside back, plays a lot of centre as well. Junior Pong as well has been a great outside back for the Roosters, coming in and out at times. So there are options there as a wing. If they do decide to move Mariner inside as a centre, I can see him doing a job there, and Ponga or Tango doing a job there as well. So Jake Tango. But as for the right centre position, I think Isaac Tango wins that spot. He's had an amazing season with Penrith. He's such a solid defensive centre. Even without Crichton, Critter, I know Isaac Tango will do a wonderful job on their right-hand side. So I'd stick with Isaac Tango there. With Mariner, it's got a good balance of speed and pace, and should be able to be a good unit defensively, with Tango being that really key defender, making sure the outsides don't get too much in the attack. So, and now onto the right, left centre, I've got Blaze Talangi at the moment. I think he'll be a solid addition there. Blaze has kind of played all over the park. He actually can play a bit of 5'8" as well, which is another option there. But I think as a left centre, a speed left centre, a real threat down their left edge, I think he'll be a great player there. You also have the likes of Lutele, the veteran who's been playing over at Lee Leopards. He'll bring a bit of that veteranness. You may go with him, may go with the older head to start off with. It is only 2 games, so you do want to hit the ground running with who you want there to be. If Talangi wins that spot, I think there's no harm with him starting. But I could see them going with a Lutele, or they could go a Jake Tango as well. Jake with a bit of experience playing both sides of the field at centre, wherever he's needed. Now, for me on the left wing, I've got Skelton, that powerhouse, big body type left winger. Kind of reminds me of a Manu Vatuve, that bigger style winger that can be a threat close to the line, get him early ball, let him power through his opposite winger. So you can see a bit of that balance out. Again, options are Ponga and Jake Tango. Those guys can move around. They're flexible. You could even go, if you needed to an RTS on either wing. There's other options there. A Blaze Talangi could fit in on the wing as well. So it's a nice balance of outside backs that have a bit of skills in every part of the field. So I think the coach has got this right with the balance. But yeah, I'd say Skelton for me. That bigger body, that bigger presence will be good in a carry. Yes, he could get caught out a bit if things go wrong. Wet conditions, yeah, it can be a bit slower for the bigger men. You might want the smaller guys, but the same thing in wet conditions, can carry the hard yards. If he can make players miss, this is where I think an RTS in wet conditions can just do wonders. And I think all the outside backs have footwork and speed. So, but I think he wins that position out for me. Now into the 5'8" position, Anthony Milford is listed there, and I think he will hold that spot as the foil, or he could actually be a 7 as a traditional 7, a kicking 7, and allow Jerome to be a roaming 6 that he naturally is. But I kind of see them working both ways, both being kind of a foil for each other. But you could, if you feel that you'd like Milford to take some of those traditional responsibilities, like kicking on the 5th, I mean, Milford will play a big hand in it, but Jerome is more that. I think as a captain, he'll want to lead around the park. He'll want to make the decisions. So if Milf can play a bit more of a foil, that may work. The other option is a Blaise Talangi, which he has played a bit of 5'8", and he's got that skill and footwork to be a 5'8". Does it marry up with Luai as a good counterbalance? Maybe not, but at the same time, it may be quite effective. I think where Luai is at in his career, he's very settled in his play style. He can play a traditional game. He can play a simple game. He doesn't feel that he's required to play, step cut back inside or, all the extravagant, exotic type play. He might go with a Blaise Talangi on his outside with speed, and Luai at this stage in his career, I believe, can lead a team around the park, no sweat. So it's however you want to play it, but those are your two options. Yeah, and as for me, Luai, again, you can play him as a 7 or a 6, and you got Milford and Talangi. So there's some options there. Amongst those three, I think are the best options for Samoa. Now, the anchor, the prop that I'm building this team off of is Terrell May. I think Terrell is an absolute future star. I know he's amongst a crowd of players, although JWH is retiring from the Roosters, and I'm sure Terrell will now step up into that place with Lindsay Collins. But I see Terrell as the anchor man for this forward pack. I think he's got the skills to. Probably hasn't played long minutes this year, the Roosters, but I think you can anchor him. You can use him to build this forward pack around, and I've got him as my main prop. You got your AFBs and your Tongan team. You got your JFH and your Kiwis. You always got to have an anchor prop in there that's your main alpha dog. I think Terrell May is that guy from what I've seen. Now working into the other props, I've got Palacia would be as my second prop. But then you've got the likes of Molo, Tavanga, that give you a bit of variety. Molo, a very good impact player, can start as well. He's got leg speed, he's got leg drive. Tavanga, same thing, leg drive, speed from the ruck. He's great to bring on after 20, 25 minutes. He can attack around the ruck. He's got good footwork. He's had a great season with us at the Warriors. Good solid defender, does the 1%ers. His game has cleaned up over the years, so Jazz is a great option. You also got Pahulu from the Titans, which is another type of speed type guy for great footwork. And then you got the big bopper, the Va'alepu, that you might see on the bench as your impact type of Nas type big body frame forward impact if you wanted to bring someone on with a bit of size. So there's a lot of options in that pack, a lot of variety, which I think will be great for them going overseas to the UK. Then in the hooker position, I got Chan Kum Tong as the main guy. He's played a lot of that last year, but I like the inclusion of Paulie Roach. Paulie's a great player. I think he will do well in this environment. I wouldn't be afraid to have either one of them, but I think Paulie will be a great impact player off the bench. Very direct, very fast, and Gordon's had a good run when he's been a long minutes hooker. I know he's played some long minutes for Toa Samoa last year, if I can remember. So you got good options there. If you want to have a bit more of an impact, I'll go Paulie Roach. But for your long-term minutes hooker, I'll probably stick with Gordon there, who can do a job. On the edges, I've got Blore there as my left-sided edge, but you got Leilua right at the fingertips because Leilua is just an attacking threat all day. Powerful left edge player. But Blore, I think he's played more traditionally right side at Melbourne, but I'm sure he can play left. I think he'll bring that defensive rigidity, rigidness, and he'll bring that consistency from playing in the Storm. I think he'll be a good benefit for them to deal with the back rowers of England. I think he's your long minutes guy, but Leilua would be great off the bench, in my opinion. Then on the right side, Jeremiah Nanai is absolutely that guy. I mean, maybe you go to Simi Sasangi there as well. I'm not sure if Simi, I know he's a back row. He could maybe play both sides. I'm not too sure about that. But Nanai's your guy you build your attack around. He'd be the guy that you'd be targeting and working with a Luai or a Milford or a Talangi to try and get him on that short ball, that line. But then again, I mean, if you go with, say, Leilua on the left-hand side, you got Blore there as an option as a right edge back rower. You also got Blore as an option off the bench, maybe if you want to go that way around it. There's a bit of depth there. But we'll go into the lock position. The lock is probably the only one where I'm a bit concerned. Asiata looks the natural lock player from the Lee Leopards. I'm sure he's been pretty good over the years from what I've heard, what I've seen. Who to fill in for him? I mean, there's the likes of Jazz Tavanga who could play a little bit of that role. Palacia, I'm sure he could ball play a little bit. There's no natural substitution from what I see, but there's a few pieces you could work with and work around that to make it work. So overall, this is a really, really solid squad. And it's got a bit of variety, a bit of everything. Yes, it's missing its Brian To'os, it's missing your critters, missing a few other players as well. But in saying that, this is a good, solid squad. If the coach can get it right, they could have a successful tour of the UK. Now, in terms of what I've gone with here, guys, I've gone with RTS at the back. Mariner is my right-sided winger. I think that combination with him, with Isaac Tango, will be a really, really good edge. You get a bit of speed, a bit of nous defensively with Isaac. If they can get on the same page, those two could shut down a lot of the attacks going left for the England team. Then on my other side, I got Talangi with Skelton. Probably a bit sus defensively. Maybe you make some changes to get that side short. You could go with a Lutele. I'm not sure how Lutele is tracking at the moment, but I'd say that side gives you a bit more of your power game from a Skelton. Gives you a bit more of a variety with Talangi there, bit of speed to work outside of Milford or Lua on some sweet plays. And then you got, linking that with that RTS in there. It's going to be a pretty good backline in my opinion. Milford and Lua in the halves, I think they'll go all right. If they can get the right balance. Lua obviously got a really solid kicking game. Milf has been good, although he's been out of, I think he's been in the NRL for the last year, so maybe he's been playing a lot of Q Cup. I'm not too sure. I think because at the Dolphins, it's traditionally been Nikorima and Sullivan. But we'll see. We'll see. Milf will be up for it. If you don't, you got Blaze Taulagi there as well. In my front row, like I said, May and Palacia, I'd stick with those two to start off with at least. And then Gordon will be that hooker role. He'll play long minutes, Gordon. I know he can. He's a bit smaller, but he'll be up for it. Blore and Nanai, that's a really solid back row combination for me. I think either side will benefit from them defensively, and more specifically, Nanai will be your attacking threat on your right side. Asiata will be your link man, your lock play through the middle there. And then I've got Leilua. I've got Roach Tavanga. So Roach is my utility hooker replacement, a bit of an impact guy. Now we know Roach can play a little bit of the halves. He's played a little bit of halves at the Warriors. So there's that backup if you need it. Ideally, you want to keep him as a hooker, in my opinion. And then Tavanga is that speed, like forward, your impact forward coming off the bench. It's quick play of the ball. If you can get a quick play of the ball, get Jazz onto the ball, he'll get on his fronts. And then Leilua is their back row cover. Again, you put Leilua on, you push Blore to the right side if Nanai comes off. There's a few options there. And I think Leilua is a damaging player. Now, I've gone with the big size. You could probably go with the Francis Mola if you want a bit more experience. You probably could go with a few, Pahulu maybe, But I think Valepu might be that impact guy. If you can find a place for him, Valepu might be that damaging ball runner that you don't want to see around the 50th, 60th minute of the game. When things are tight, he might be able to open the game up physically. So there's a few options there. It's a good squad. I think they will, Tonga struggled and struggled last year to go to England and get a win. It's very difficult over there. The conditions this time of year, it's dark, it's cold in the north of England. The referees do side a little bit to the home team. There's their hometown crowd. It's foreign territory for a lot of these guys. I'm sure the likes of Leutele and Asiata will have to accommodate the young ones to understand how it works, what to be prepared for over there in terms of mentally being prepared. It's still quite a young side when you really think of it. Other than Lua, who's got a lot of that experience, RTS, a lot of these guys are young outside backs, kind of a youngish forward pack a lot. So we have to try and keep these boys really locked in. Junior Paulo not there. I think Junior might be retiring from this field, but it's a young kind of mixed team with a bit of experience. But I think they'll go away. I think the goal for me would be to win one game. If they could win both games, that would be huge. That would be bigger than, I suppose, what Tonga's been able to achieve. The Kiwis, even, we haven't been able to. We went there 2018 and 2015. We lost both series. We haven't had success over there, so it's tough for anyone to play a series over there. But if they can get all the balance right, there's a bit of experience. This team, the core of it, the nucleus of it is pretty good. If you can get Milford and Lua on the same page, get your hooker playing, get RTS flowing, get some line breaks, get some speed around the ruck, all those types of things, this team can be successful. I would say, though, it is still missing some of his experienced players. You add a Crichton in there and a To'o. Their experience, you add that with Luai, it takes it to another level. But there's enough there, and hopefully they can get the job done. It'd be great for them to come home with 2-0, or even one would be great out of the 2 games. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think of that squad. Put your comments in. I'll get back to them as soon as I can, but enjoy the rest of your day. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully with some more content around the international footy. But thank you very much. Please hit that like and subscribe to Wires Up TV. See ya.